Traffic in this city is a complete nightmare, and I can't ignore it anymore. So today I have two brilliant ideas. One should finally fix traffic, the other should reduce traffic, but just fixing traffic is too easy. I want to fix it and then do everything I can to break it. And by the end of this video, every single traffic jam in this city has to be gone. We need to buy these tiles. That's because there isn't enough access to this area, and it's making it hard to plan anything, especially transit. But let's put a pin in that, because I have a simple idea to fix traffic, and I want to know if it's going to work. Of course, the biggest issue right now is that the main road running throughout this entire map is a 2-lane highway. And that's made even worse by the fact that it terminates right after the landfill. And that's a problem for two reasons. First, it doesn't have enough capacity to handle this entire city's traffic. Second, the main road should not be terminating. Now at the moment, it is operating more as a country back road, and I do want to maintain that, unless traffic gets so bad that we have to implement a proper interstate. So let's click play and implement the first fix. I'm going to upgrade this entire road to be a 4-lane highway. And so that I don't break anything, I want to make sure that I'm upgrading it right in the middle. Just like that right there. Now that already gives us an insane amount of capacity that we didn't have before. Now let's move on to the termination problem. So the main road terminating is a big problem for one reason. It's breaking any form of consistency or hierarchy that we should have. And so to fix this, I'm going to branch a road off, up this hill, and then we'll rework the landfill connection. And I want this to be a nice tight curve, that way you're forced to slow down when you're approaching this intersection. Because keep in mind, this isn't an interstate. Now the reason why I want to branch up is because we're going to make a bridge that crosses this water and connects back into the outside connections somewhere around here. And this is going to be really important for two reasons. It's going to stop this road from terminating, but it's also going to give us access to this future port area. And I'm so excited, but I won't get carried away. And I want to use this 6-lane 2-way suspension bridge. And the one thing that worries me here is our heights. So if we turn anarchy off, we can tell whether we're going to make it or not. You can see how the bridge kind of does this weird slopey thing across the waterway, and that means we need about 40 meters, which is an insane amount of height that we're going to have to make up from our 4-lane road. But let's worry about that in a second, because first we just want to get this bridge in. Let's drop the height down to 10 meters, let's drop back down to ground level, and we'll curve into the outside connection. Now the only reason why I went with 6 lanes is because I know we're going to have to branch off a bunch of connections for the port in the future, and if we're spending all the money on the bridge, we might as well just do it up front and not have to worry about it later on. What we do have to worry about though, is the connection into this road. And actually 6% really isn't all that bad. It's quite reasonable. And then for the time being, I'm going to branch a connection off to the right. We'll do the same thing with the left, and then we just have to clean this up a bit. And I genuinely have no idea what's wrong with me. I built the bridge into the wrong connection. But don't worry, because now it's fixed. And this bridge also has an added benefit that I didn't really expect. Before, I really hated where the landfill was placed. But now with the bridge in, it actually doesn't look all that bad. Either way, we've spent around $6 million just on these tiles alone, and instead of making 120k per hour, now we're only making 72. But that's all to serve the greater purpose of reducing traffic. And the best way to reduce traffic is to implement good transit. But we needed these tiles so we could implement all this transit. If we didn't, the transit would be way too simplistic. It would be a line from this city to the industrial area, to our starting city, and then all the way to our new city. But I want to get way crazier than that, and I want to do way more. And just based off the fact that traffic is clearly not fixed, that's why we have to extend our grid so we can go a little bit more hardcore. Although the good news is, traffic seems to be fixed down here. I am going to take this a step further though. I think this main road needs to be a 4-lane road. And it should also connect into this road, because this is an extremely important freight road. And to help out with this, we are going to provide a turning lane for this road, and a turning lane here. I'm going to ban this right turn, and to make sure that traffic flows smoothly, I want each lane to only serve one purpose. So basically, all of these lanes have dedicated movements, and there shouldn't be any crisscrossing. All that's to say that we don't have any more crazy traffic backed up till the end of the map, but we do have garbage down here. And I would say let's ignore this and focus on extending the grid, but if we don't fix this, we're gonna lose power. So all we need is another waste management facility within this vicinity. I'm gonna try and keep that away from the canal and away from our farms. So let's get that placed in right there, and we'll get this facility connected in with our 2-lane rural road. Finally, all we have to do is give this area some water. There's a water tower, and to solve sewage, let's just unlock the water treatment plant, and we'll place that right back here. Now let's get this facility connected in. So now that garbage shouldn't be a problem anymore, let's go back to extending our grid so we can implement transit. To get started, I'm only going to do the most important roads with you guys, and then once we're done, I will quickly build out the rest of the grid. So the first road that I want to work on is going to be this 4-lane road. And basically, all I want it to do is wrap around this coastline, and then it's going to connect back in over here. This is going to help the industrial district move goods to our entertainment district and the densest part of the city so far. And this road is also going to help a lot with transit. Now we have a waterway here, and I don't want to go 40 meters up in the sky in order to have this road work. So instead, we're going to add in a drawbridge, which means we need to buy this tile here. I want to take this 4-lane industrial road, and it's just a 4-lane road, except it has the bridges and ports sidewalks, which I think look a little bit nicer. Now we're going to have to curve down, and I want to connect back in with this road. So unfortunately, we're going to have to delete a few businesses. Now we can upgrade this, and then make our curve across, and finally connect back in. Okay, I think making this a proper bridge may be asking just a little bit too much from this game. So this is going to be fine. Now that we have this new road in place, I want to extend it into this 4-lane. Basically, all I want to do is provide easier access for both our transit and all of our cargo traffic. But given that we don't have a main 4-lane road in this entire area, I'm going to upgrade this entire thing to be 4 lanes. And I'll quickly do all of the cleanup. Now that all of this is cleaned up, we're going to take this 4-lane road that used to terminate at the landfill, and we're going to pull that directly into our new 4-lane. And now what we have is a massive improvement. It's going to reduce a bunch of the burden on this road and this road over here. In fact, it's definitely starting to clear up, at least down here. This used to be backed up way further down. Now Daffodil Street is looking great, but we can't stop here. Because we added in this outside connection, we've doubled the amount of places that traffic can come from, which of course is going to create problems. As we can see, there is a bunch of trucks and vehicles all queuing up for this road. And when we see where they want to go, it's this outside connection. And honestly, it makes sense. Before we built this bridge, they only had one access point, and they were probably starving for something more. There is a pretty easy way that we can help though. So I branched this connection off with the intention of connecting into this road. That'll allow traffic to flow smoothly, get on the highway, and go back to the outside world. The only challenge is the landfill. We're still going to need the landfill for quite a bit longer. So in order to solve this, I'm going to try and relocate the entire thing. And I don't know if that's going to break things or not. I don't want to be rash or impulsive, so instead I'm going to delete this entire facility. Now a real city doesn't get to wave their hands and say goodbye to the landfill. The landfill is disgusting, it's gross, and it pollutes like crazy. So getting rid of it is just a little bit too easy. That's why we're going to place it back in once we get this road connection set up. I want this to be a 2-lane road, and the lane going into the city is going to branch off, come underneath this off-ramp, and this is where things might get a little bit crazy. I want to connect back into this off-ramp. But first, I need to fix its direction. That's because I want this off-ramp to connect directly into the city. And we'll figure out all the rest after. Now this is already looking pretty insane, and definitely a little bit overbuilt, but I think you gotta overbuild things sometimes, because honestly, it's just a lot of fun. Now we'll just make this a 2-lane road, and then fix the loop. Now basically, this is a rich, poor man's trumpet. And I say rich because of all the elevated segments, but I say poor because only some of the movements are free-flowing. But for now, this is as crazy as I want to get with this. Now so far, traffic is looking really good. There isn't a single bit of traffic throughout the entire city. In fact, we've actually lost a bunch of the icons down here that were driving me insane. And if I was a gambling man, I would say that's all based on the better connection. It's now 1,000,000 times easier to deliver goods to all of these industrial facilities. We're having a small death care problem, so let's add in a new facility and we'll place that right there, and we'll make sure that this only serves all of these areas. Now we have to add the landfill back, so I'm going to steal a whole bunch more of this land, and I'm going to build a wall right here. Now if you haven't seen the first video, don't worry. All you need to know is that this wall exists to try and stop all of the residential from looking at the landfill, which is why we're burying it instead of allowing it to sit higher up. Now I'm going to place this facility closer to the water. Alright, and there is our landfill done. It looks pretty awful, but awful in a good way. The only upgrade I want to do today is the waste recycling unit, because it's going to reduce the pollution, and because we're sending out all 20 vehicles, let's add on an extra 10. Now with this landfill done, it's time to get back to our main roads. And there's really only one more important main road that will allow me to build the grid on top of this hill. So of course, what we need is a road that runs to the top of this hill and connects back up with our main 4-lane by the beach. First, we're going to have to chop this off, and we'll have to flatten this out a bit because we're going to have to go underneath the train tracks. And we should have just enough clearance to do so. Perfect, we do, amazing. Now we'll gently go up the hill, let's say 7%. We're going to send this all the way across, and then the connection from this top part to the bottom part is only 5.7%. We do have to do some crazy things which I don't really like. So instead, let's flatten this out. Now let's gently slope down and connect back in at a 90 into our main road. And not only is that better, but it would also be cheaper. Before I build out the grid, I'm going to assign this area a new district because we have a crime scene at our train station, which is funny because there's a police station right here. So let's get that assigned, and then we'll do the rest of our services once we have the grid in. To make the grid, I'm going to keep this fairly standard, and that's because the top of this hill is pretty much flat. We don't need to do anything crazy here. So let's quickly build out this grid. And with the grid done, let me explain a few design choices. So the number one goal was to allow for the smooth flow of transit, which is why we have a bunch of key main roads. I also wanted density beside the entertainment district and beside our train station. We still have 2 more areas to build the grid out, and these ones are going to be a lot quicker. There's only 2 considerations for this area. I want a road that bypasses the farms and then connects back into this highway. And this road is going to be really important because it's going to give us a second entryway into this side of the city. But we are going to have to buy 1 more tile. There. Now everything we built is in the tiles that we own. All that's left is to cross this canal and then make our last connection into our 4-lane road. And essentially, this is like a bypass. Either way, the second consideration is the beach. So I made this road a bridge because I want to be able to send this pedestrian road underneath it and then connect back up with this intersection. Which means we're officially ready to build out the grid. And now there's only 1 more left. Let's get this grid completed. And finally, we are done building grids. No more. And because we have all this fertile land right here, I figured we might as well just make all of this farms. Now with all of this in place, we're finally ready to implement phase 2 of the experiment. If I'm going to add a whole bunch of population to see if the traffic fixes will hold, then I need a release valve for all the pressure that's going to build up. And that's going to be transit. Plus, I mean the city needs transit anyways. So first, let's work on a quick win. We're going to need these 2 tiles because it is time to finally add in a train station here. And we're going to use the local train station to do this. Let's delete this section of track and we'll snap it right on, get this connected back up, and then all we need to do is take this 2-lane road, send it up the hill, and then snap directly onto our building. And we'll need to make 1 more connection. to meet back up with our 2-lane highway. And now we're going to tell our current train route, which is going from this station all the way to the outside connection. We'll tell it to stop here first, and it'll do the same thing on the way back. So that gives us one more station to work with, and the actual train line looks something like this. It probably won't make too big of an impact until we zone the top of this hill. But I'm going to consider that a win, because that's the first real connection from these districts to these ones. Next up, we're going to do buses. And I always like to get the bus depots in after, because then it's easier to reduce deadheading. So because I like wasting money, I'm going to place one down and then immediately delete it, because that gives us access to all of our bus stations. So I want to use this local bus station for our main station in this area. So I'm going to place that right beside the train station, and we'll get that centered right in the middle, and we'll add on the bus service station and the extra platforms. Now from the train station to the bus station, it should be an easy walk. So I'm going to wrap this entire building with a pedestrian path, and we'll send it across the street and make sure that it connects directly into the train station. And then we're going to need one more bus station on this side of the city. And this area is still a bit small, which is why I'm going to use the small city bus station. And I'm going to place this right across from our park. Let's add on the extra platforms and the station services. And with these 2 stations in place, we can finally add in the bus depot. I'm going to have one of these compact bus depots right beside the bus station. And this is going to provide 10 vehicles directly to our local bus station. Now we have this old bus depot, which I think could fit really well near this industrial area. It wouldn't be the best place just due to the bridge, but what I really like about it is that this feels like a perfect fit for the waterfront. Honestly, I'm going to do it. I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to do it. And we'll get this connected into our main road. And I'm getting carried away like crazy. But I think this is going to turn out to be a really cool area once it's all filled in. Either way, this bus depot gives us 50 vehicles. I didn't even realize it was that many. I thought it was maybe 10. I would have placed this way more strategically. Now between the 2 bus depots, we have 60 vehicles. And for the initial purpose of building out transit today, I think that's going to be enough. So let's get started with some obvious routes. First, we're going to go from this bus station over here, all the way to this bus station, and then back. And I have been doing so bad on naming, I am so sorry. For now, we're going to call this line 1, Old City to New City. So we'll make the ticket price $1, we'll drop the vehicles down to 4, and we'll make this green to celebrate our first bus route. Now already I have a problem with the route that it's taking. It's basically going to be jamming up the roads that are already jammed up. So I'm going to adjust it so that it goes down this road instead. And there we go, that's line number 1 complete. The next most obvious route is going to be bringing everyone to the industrial. And the way I'm going to do all these routes is by placing in my point A and my point B, then I'll add in the bus line, and that's when I'll add in all the stops in between. So the last stop on this route is going to be into this area. So I'm going to have it loop around our trailer park, and that's basically just because this is cheap land and they can't complain. The next thing that I want to keep in mind is the total trip distance, or the time it takes for the bus to go from point A to point B, because that's going to heavily impact how efficient our buses are. So for this route, we need to make sure that we're serving the majority of our residential, but we also want to serve the industrial down here as well. So let's make the point B right here. And now we can draw on the line. Now I'm just going to quickly place a few stops, and the goal is to serve as many citizens as we can. And that gives us bus line number 2, which I'm going to call line number 2, Old City to Industrial. And we'll drop the ticket price down to $1 because people have to get to work. And because industrial is dirty, we'll make this a gross brown color. And for the next line, I want to serve the entertainment district. Not only is this a massive source of events, things to do, parks, you name it, it also employs 5,275 people. So I want to place one end stop over here. And the goal of this route is to bring as many people to this district as possible. And I think this is a route that has to be connected into our bus station. So let's quickly get this drawn in. And the district was meant to be like Vegas, so I'm going to make this pink. For the time being, this is going to be line number 3, old station to name. We'll drop the ticket price down to $1, and for line number 3, this is going to be the route that it's going to take. So now let's quickly get some stops in. And now based on everything that we have, I can only see one more line. And the start point is going to be right here, with the end point being over here. And that would give us a route that looks like this. So its primary job is to bring all of these residents, drop them off at the beach, the entertainment district, and it would serve all the way to down here. And we'll also be able to introduce a few transfer points. So first, let's give this a name, and that gives us line number 4, Manorfield to Evergreen Heights. Let's make it yellow. Ticket price down to $1. Transit needs to be accessible. In fact, everyone watching gets a free bus pass. Now I'm going to quickly add in all of our stops for the yellow line. And the city's first ever bus network is officially done. When we add on our trains, it looks like this. There is one more important transit network that we need to add, and that is for the entertainment district. What I want to do is add in a small little tram network right in the middle of all of this. Because the beautiful tourists who are coming to our entertainment district, they don't want to walk anywhere. Walking is for peasants. And actually we have 1,500 of them. That's pretty good. Like I was saying, we're going to have to unlock trams. I want to place the tram depot as close as I can. I really should have left more space for myself. So instead, we're going to add it across the street. Now let's take the double tram tracks, add it to our pedestrian road, and I want to be very careful of where I'm sending this, because I really don't want to make this convoluted. And that gives us the very first tram line. I'm going to call this line number 1, Entertainment Express. I'm going to drop the ticket price all the way down to free. I doubt we'll have much usage, so we'll only have 3 out of 14 vehicles. And we'll make it a nice bright blue. Wait a minute, do you guys notice anything wrong? I guess the mod is making the UI go up? I don't even know at this point in time. All that matters is we have all of our transit lines in. And now it's time for my favorite part. So this is our current transit ridership. And I need you to remember all of these numbers for me because I have the memory of a goldfish. All of this is pretty solid, but what happens once we actually zone everything in? Because there is a bunch of stops being made right now that don't even make sense. Why would we stop here? You wouldn't. There's no reason, which is why we're going to create a reason. So first, we need to add in all of our services for Manorfield and for the new district over here. This gives us Aspen Way. We already have one medical clinic right here, so let's assign it to this district. Now let's add in one more over here and assign it to this district. Next up, we're going to need some death care. So let's place this right behind our old medical clinic, and we'll set this to operate in both districts because I think this district might need it. Let's take our landfill and assign it to all of these new districts. Now we're going to need an elementary school. So let's place this in right here. It has one upgrade for more capacity. We're going to add that on, and we'll set it to only operate in this district. In general, our education pipeline is looking a little bit rough. This district alone has 4,000 children, but we only have room for 1,000 students. So let's add on this upgrade, and we'll place it right beside the main building, and that's only going to give us an extra 500 capacity, and we need way more than that. So let's add in the urban elementary school, right beside our medical clinic, and our crematorium. I'm going to add on all the upgrades, and we'll set it to operate in both of these districts. And we still need around 1,300 more capacity. So I'm going to add in 2 of these. It's just going to make this so much easier. We have one small high school. It has a capacity for 400 students. And in this district, we have 1,200 teens. Let's add in one more high school. We'll also add on the upgrade and assign it to these 2 districts. We're just going to need one more high school for this area over here. And this has a capacity for 2,500. And once we add on all the upgrades, it has a capacity for 3,500. So we're going to assign it to all 3 of these districts. Now we're just going to need some fire care, and we might as well place that over by our farms, because that means the noise won't matter as much. Then let's add in the Netherlands police station right beside our high school, and that gives us milestone 14. We are now a grand city. From here on out, anything that we unlock doesn't really do anything for us. But it's still nice to have. Let's add on all of the upgrades, and we'll set this to operate in these 3 districts. The park coverage is solid green, even in the areas where we haven't added in any parks. So I won't worry about this, and I'll add in a few once I'm doing the zoning. All that leaves us with is mail, and it is pretty much bad everywhere. We do have the Westmont Tower, which to be honest could look really nice near our beach. Let's add that in right there. And I'm going to wrap this entire lot with a retaining wall. Now this building is an absolute unit. First, it's going to reduce all of our building leveling costs by 5%. Second, it can store a whole bunch of mail, and it has 30 vehicles. Plus, we can add on the downtown restaurant, and if we unlock the post-sorting facility, which we'll do right now, that gives us one more upgrade, and this is for the Center of Postal Services. It gives us a crazy amount of storage capacity, a total of 45 vehicles, and apparently it can sort mail, but I don't even think this works, to be honest. We're going to assign it to all of these districts, and now I'm going to quickly go through and place a whole bunch of mailboxes. Now it's time to make one more bad financial decision, but it's also going to be a good one. We need internet. We are going to quickly unlock the telecom tower, and if we place that in right here, we still don't even get a full green. That is a bit rough, but having any internet is better than having no internet, unless we're talking about dial-up, because at that point in time, I'd just rather die. Now I'm going to quickly get this connected into our 2-lane road, and now we're losing $18,000 per hour. Our biggest cost right now is actually healthcare and death care. Let's drop garbage management all the way down to 100%, and that brings us down to negative $10,000 per hour. That's fine though, because once we get all of our zoning in, we're going to be rich. I do want to see this area in the green though. So let's add in one more telecom tower, and we'll place that right by our water tower. And now show me green. And for the most part, yeah, all I really care about is our main downtown area. We're going to finish off the services for Manorfield, and I really want to get this done quickly. So here is the elementary school, here's the high school, there's fire, and right in the center of the city, we're going to have police, there's a few parks, there's our medical clinic, which means right beside it we'll place in the crematorium, and there, we are finally ready to do some zoning. Now the high density is going to be the most important, so that's the one we're going to save for last, because it's going to be much easier to understand how I want it to look once we have everything else in. Now most of this zoning is going to be straightforward, so we are going to move through it pretty quickly. So first, right alongside this main street, I want some northeastern low-density commercial. Now I'm primarily putting commercial on this main road because it's going to give these businesses the best opportunity to sell or to advertise their goods. This is going to become a pretty important road. Right beside the elementary school, I want more commercial as well. That way the students have somewhere to go on lunch. And before I place down a whole bunch of low density, I just want to add in a few medium density buildings. That way this area doesn't feel entirely flat. And speaking of flat, these Australian flats are pretty much perfect. And that pretty much destroys all of the medium density demand. So with that in mind, I'm going to quickly spam down a whole bunch of low density residential. And as long as it keeps returning, all I'm going to do is add in a few medium density buildings just scattered around. That's going to help add in a whole bunch of variety. I'll also try and keep most of the density closer to the commercial or the main roads. So with that in mind, let's quickly fill in the rest of this area. And that is the majority of the plopping done. But let me be real with you. This entire area is soulless, and it's really not how I imagined it to come out. I have a few ideas, but we're going to put a pin in that because I want to finish the rest of the expansion, and then we'll come back to this. Now this side is going to stay a lot more rural because the farms help the city feel like it has an edge. But as we move closer towards the beach, this is when we can start picking up that density again. So let's work through this area in 3 sections. First, we're going to do the farms. And in raw materials, our biggest deficit is in grain, which means the majority of this land is just going to be grain farms. And that unlocks the dairy house. We won't place that in today, but we are going to need that very soon. We're starting to lose a little bit of land fertility within these 3 lots, so I'm going to delete all of those farms, and we'll replace all of them with livestock farming. Now all we have to do is pull out these surfaces. Then we'll fix the surfaces underneath the buildings, add in a few trees, and our farms are going to be done really quickly. And that is the farms done. I accidentally made all of these livestock, and I swear, what is wrong with me? So I had to go and swap them back to grain. But now we're producing 501 tons of livestock, 57 tons of grain. Now let's quickly move on to the rest of the district. I want to upgrade this 2-lane road to be more like this 2-lane rural road, because that's going to match the farm style. And as we get to the bridge, that's when we'll transition into a proper 2-lane. Now the big reason why I want to do that is because I want to use these UK detached houses as essentially our rural farmhouses. I'm going to separate each of them by 2 units because that's going to help sell the farm look. They should have tons of room. And now we're going to transition into more of our rural town, but I want this to still feel somewhat upscale because we are still close to the beach and we do have a bunch of density over here. So while we don't want towers, we do want something of just a bit more density. But first, let's start with some commercial. Blue Jay Street is definitely going to need a few restaurants, and this is great too because it's right near all of our transit. And given that this is a farm town, I could definitely see the baker and confectionery here. Plus we just unlocked it and I want to use it. So let's have it front this road, but I want a little bit more access because we will have trucks delivering stuff here. So we'll wrap the alleyway around. And then on this side, let's have a bit of commercial. And this really helps because it makes this area feel a little bit more special, something that this district is insanely missing. For the rest of this, I really don't want to overthink it. I'm just going to add in a bit of North American commercial. And we're out of commercial demand, so let's have a bit of office as well. Right near the transit stop, this is where we're going to have our densest buildings. Now we're going to dedicate these 3 lots, plus this one, to some row homes. Everything after that is just going to be more low density. So with that in mind, I'm going to quickly get all of this filled out. And that is the first half of Aspen Way done. And I can easily say that this has way more soul than the area over here. Let's finish this area here, because once we're done this, we'll move on, do the highest density, we'll check all of our transit numbers, we'll see if traffic is fixed, which it seems to be right now. It's fairly calm, and as long as it stays this way, I'll consider that a win. Now in this area, I need to be very careful. There's a bit of awkwardness going on, and I want to try and solve it. So first, I want to start down by the beach, and anywhere on this beach road needs medium density. There really can't be anything else. And that is pretty much perfect. I really like the way that feels in contrast with everything else, but this is not Design 101. The primary goal is to fix traffic. This is the part when we're testing to see if it'll hold and if it'll work. Crescent Street is one of our main roads. What that means is I want to keep most of our commercial and our office on this road. And because we have this stop right here, I want to add in a really important workplace. But why have 1 when we can have 3? And I love these buildings because they provide so many jobs. And somehow they have a 165% efficiency boost. Honestly, just kind of crazy. Now that helps justify this transit stop here. And I would have loved to make all of this some type of office district. We have 1.3% unemployment. And in fact, I think the industrial area is still hurting. Just so many lack of labor signs. All that to say, we need a whole bunch of population. And everything within these lots is going to be some type of medium density building. And now with all of this done, the rest is just going to be low density with a mix of row homes. Before I plop those in, we need to do something with this area because I want to protect it from any development. So let's just meander a few trails around. And then I just want to add an invisible pedestrian path alongside the sand. That way we get a bit more activity and a bit more life here. And finally, let's add some trees. And last but not least, I just want to blend the surface a little bit better. And that's good enough for me to walk away and be happy. So now I'm going to quickly finish off all of these unzoned lots. And now Aspen Way is completely done, and it is looking really, really good. And oh wait, there's a fire. We have fire coverage, right? There's no way I would have forgotten. Yeah, we got fire coverage, but yet we still burnt down. Okay, the fire coverage is a little bit too far away. We need one that's way more local. So let's have one more right across from this park, and those people are not gonna like it. Well, too bad. I think you're gonna like when your house doesn't burn down. Now that should help a lot because the other fire trucks are currently stuck in traffic. And the majority of this traffic is just people moving in. Honestly, I figured it would have been a bit worse. Let's finish up the last area, then we'll check in on our transit numbers and we'll check in on traffic. Now to start off with our density, we of course have a bunch of signature buildings. And I want to place some of our tallest buildings first because once that's done, I'll quickly get the rest in. Unemployment has increased to 3.1%, which isn't all that bad, but I need a reason to add in this office building, and this will help with unemployment. Let's add in a bit of grass, one big park, and this building is taking up a whole bunch of space, which is why I want to make sure that we're running a path behind it. Let's add in the Hennypen Tower, and right there is a perfect spot for it. And of course we have Smiley's Vancouver assets, and for what I'm trying to do here, these are going to be really good fits. Now we have this bus stop right here, and I want to make sure that we have a bit of mixed use here. That way we can serve two uses in one go. Now, I really want to work in the grass crown, but this building is completely unreasonable. This building can hold 3,888 households, and that is insane. This building can hold 240, and that's 517 residents. So this building alone can hold the population of a small city, and that's just a little bit too much. So I'm going to create a static version of it, and I also want to point it towards the water. And I want to add a very big roundabout right in the middle, so let's quickly unlock roundabouts. And now it's all functional. This building will have residents, and they can walk through this center path to get into the building. For a 10-minute knockoff, I think it's pretty good. And I think that's going to help this area stand out a whole bunch more. Now before I quickly go through and plop everything in, let's give a little bit of love to our train station area and the bus station area. And to be honest, I'm struggling to find any of these skyscrapers that would be a somewhat reasonable height for this area. So when in doubt, go with Chinese high-density residential. And basically the goal is to have some towers, similar to what we have on our waterfront over here, which means all we really need is a decent amount of space, because ideally, you're still able to see the beach and the water once you look in between these buildings. So with that in mind, let's get plopping and oh no. Yeah, let's get plopping. Okay, 3 hours later, I am finally done, or at least where I'm willing to call it. So now population is at 87,000, we make almost 300k per hour, there's no medium or high density demand. And that's because we have a 20% unemployment rate, which is just insane. But actually, it's a blessing in disguise, because that means we can take some of this higher density commercial and place it along our main street. Now surely, after all of this commercial, we must be in a good place. Really, 14%. Okay, surely, all of this has to be enough. We're only at 10%. I guess that's what I get for more than doubling the population. But I had to so that I could test traffic. And right now, traffic is still solid except for this one spot. But first, let's fix unemployment. One thing at a time, right? Now we've got demand for pretty much everything. But we only have 6 lots left. And given that the commercial is showing not enough customers pretty much all across the city, it's honestly getting on my nerves. I'm gonna primarily fill these 6 lots with office. Alright, and here is all of the new office. I decided to make this little plaza because this area felt like it was missing something. Either way, unemployment is currently at 7%. That's not perfect, but this area is filled out, and I'm ready to move on and do anything else. So now that we've more than doubled our population, added around 14 to 15,000 jobs, what are the transit numbers at? That's pretty good. So line 1 we have 224 riders, line 2 we have 170, line 3 we have 706, and for line 4 we have 468. And I did increase the vehicles in all of these. What I'm scared to know is how are the trams doing? Because I have a feeling they're doing awful. Yeah, 6%. And we have a bunch of trams just bunched up right here. What are they doing? What are they doing? Wait a minute, what is going on over here? What are all these passengers doing here? If I had to guess, they want to cross or get in the trams, but for some reason they can't. I'm gonna try and make this turn just a little bit more smooth and make the tram do a little dance. At least the citizens seem to be moving now. Why won't you turn? Just turn. Do it. Do it now. Peer pressure. Alright, fine, that's it. You're getting deleted. I think we need to drop the vehicles down to 1. And right now we have a 380 capacity tram. I don't think we're going to need any more than 190. This is meant to be a shuttle. And there is too much vehicle traffic on my pedestrian roads. It's going to drive me insane. Taking a look at traffic, there is no traffic. You're kidding me. There's got to be traffic somewhere. When I planned all this development out, I honestly expected this to be flooded with traffic and just absolutely awful. But there's basically none. Okay, wait, it's 2 a.m. Let's wait until 7. And there we go. 7 a.m. and the traffic is right on time. Although this really isn't all that bad. But we can still do some very easy fixes. So first, let's give a free-flowing right. We'll drop this down to a 3-lane asymmetric. I'll make a version of this road that's a 5-lane asymmetric. We're going to remove all unsafe movements. We'll also remove the right turn here. Now we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to be for this right-hand turn, which means we can drop this down to a 2-lane. This will become a 5-lane asymmetric. So all we're doing is providing a turning lane to go into the city. This will also become a 5-lane asymmetric. And we'll remove any of the nonsensical movements. And now let's see how this performs once traffic recalibrates. And it seems like most of the traffic is gone, but most isn't good enough. One of the biggest problems that we have right now is Goldenrod Street connecting in to this intersection. That makes this intersection really short and doesn't give enough time for queuing or for really any other movement. So let's add a node here and right there, and we'll delete those little sections, add a cul-de-sac, and delete this business. I'm sorry, please stop coming back, you're making me feel even worse. And there we go. Now there's significantly more time to merge into either lane. Is that okay, no, there's still one more place. It's pretty much the same issue here. But instead of making this a cul-de-sac, I'm going to do something slightly different that achieves almost the exact same thing as we did down here, but without removing a road connection. Except for we are removing the power connection. And the road coming in is a 2-lane one-way, and this is coming off of the highway. There is one more thing that we could do. This won't help solve traffic down there, but it will provide an extra movement for this area. So we'll branch 1 lane into our 2-lane road, and I'll make this a roundabout. The roundabout's not really necessary, I just think it ends up looking a little bit nicer. Now back down here, it's clearly helped, but not enough. Just by looking at this, the majority of the cars want to turn left here, so let's make this a giant roundabout. And traffic seems to be easing up a little bit. Still not perfect though, because now we have traffic down here. And are they getting off the highway just to immediately get back on? They know that's banned, right? They're not allowed to do that. Where are you going? You're going right. Here's an idea. Just stay on the highway. It's completely clear. Why would that even be necessary? It wouldn't. All right, that's it. I'm banning this left turn. You now only have 2 options. Go forward or go right, because you are not allowed to get off the highway just to get back on. Now it looks like traffic is jamming up a bit here. And there's one big thing that I want to do. You shouldn't be able to turn left from this lane. So these small fixes should make a pretty big impact. Or at least it would if this bus didn't want to turn at the last second. Why do cars like doing that? Okay, so if they want to turn at the last second, then I have my favorite game to play. It's called That Right Turn is Banned Now. And there isn't any more traffic anywhere else. Just a bit of crime, a little bit of death at the geothermal power plant, no biggie. And this area is burning down. I should have done this a lot earlier. Here's a fire department specifically for these 2 areas. Now hopefully their houses don't burn down anymore. Aside from that, we're making $400,000 per hour and we're pretty much rich now. We have no traffic, things are looking great. So with that is where I'm going to call it. This took forever, but I definitely think it was worth it. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Today's shoutouts go to Gary Key, Jake Hill, Mississippi Mikey, Aiden Finelski, Henry Volpel, Dylan Barnett, Sinan Ozdemir, Soyan Times2, The Poop Sheriff, James Robinson 23, Narwhal, Tank110106, and to every single person who supports this channel. Seriously, I can't say thank you enough. If you want sneak peeks, access to the save files, and much more, you can join us over on Patreon or on YouTube. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.